sending the notice to the people, it may be a board of director or the shareholder, till the minutes of meeting, all the initiative will be taken by the company secretary itself. Right to sign document. Okay, so he is the one who is going to verify the document, and also he have a responsibility to sign the document according to Companies Act 2013, and also is eligible for incentives or the extra benefit that can be given by the organization to the company secretary. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Mr. Hemant Kumar from the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Aid College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. In today's session, we are going with the subject called Company Law and Practice. That is session 4 of Unit 3. It's all about company administration for second semester BCom students. This is agenda of today's session. We are going with the topic process of appointment of a company secretary. See, when it comes in terms of a company secretary, okay, so he plays a vital role when it comes in terms of organization. Organization require company secretary according to Companies Act 2013. Okay, so he is one of the chief person when it comes in terms of companies. Rights of a company secretary. What is the rights that the company secretary have? What is the power that the company secretary have? Liabilities of a company secretary. So for which are all the things the company secretary is liable? Finally, removal of a company secretary. So if I want to remove, see here we are going with the appointment process of a company secretary, vice versa followed by the removal of a company secretary. In between these two topics, we are going with the rights of a company secretary and the liabilities of a company secretary. So these are all the topic that we need to cover in today's session. Company secretary. Here it is a brief introduction about a company secretary. Okay, so a company secretary is a key managerial personnel. Okay, so we also call him as a KMP, that is key managerial personnel, who is present in a top level management. Okay, so as we had explained in the previous session, okay, so the management, top level, middle level and the bottom level management. Okay, so he is one of the person who is present in the top level management. Okay, so that is he may be a member of a top level management, so we call him as a key managerial personnel of a company under the Companies Act 2013. So Company Act 2013 is going to empower him to be as a managerial personnel in the organization and must be member of Institute of a Company Secretary of India. So if he or she is a member in ICSI, okay, only then they can become a company secretary of any of the companies in our country. Okay, see, it is a eligibility criteria. So after qualifying the CS exam, that is a company secretary exam, so they may become a member of ICSI. Next one is the company secretary ensures that the company complies with all legal and the regulatory requirement. Okay, so there are certain legalities, so that they must be present. He or she act as link between board of directors, shareholders and government authorities, because these are the people who are going to authentify the financial statements. They are the people who are going to give the report. Okay, so without this company secretary signature, none of the report having the value, whether we are going to submit for the general public, for the shareholder, or whether we are going to disclose the report under the SEBI, or we are going to submit the report for register of the company or under the corporate affairs. Okay, so his signature is required. So, and also company secretary will be having certain initiatives or the responsibility when it comes in terms of a Companies Act 2013. Okay, so in an organization, if an organization conduct any kind of a board meeting or a general meeting, okay, or a shareholders meeting, okay, so he is the one who is going to take the all the notice, starting from the notice till the minutes of meeting. He is the one who is going to prepare all these documents, that is the requirements of the valid meeting. Okay, and also he is the responsible person to prepare and submit the statutory reports according to the norms, and also he is the one who is going to file the required documents which is required for a register of the company for formalities. Okay, so he is the one who is going to take all the initiative, okay, so that is needed for the welfare or the benefit of the organization. And also company secretary have all the responsibility to advise the board of directors when it comes in terms of legal matters, because he have to play a safer game when it comes in terms of organization, because he is the one who is going to look at the welfare of organization, right? So he is the one. And also he must follow corporate governance, and also he is responsible for smoother functioning of the organization, whether the activities which is going to follow in the organization, whether it is going to follow corporate governance or no, whether the financial statement that is being disclosed, okay, so is it true and fair or no, whether it is transparent or no. So is the one who is going to look over these all activities. And also he is responsible for the complete functionality of the organization, which is relevant for the documentation. So here we go with the process, actual process, how exactly we can appoint a company secretary when it comes in terms of a company under Companies Act 2013. Okay, so firstly, so applicability. So before we consider that person as a company secretary of my organization, so we shall go with the applicability, whether he is applicable for this post, yes or no, whether he is applicable for my organization, yes or no. So these are the various aspects that we need to go through. When it comes in terms of applicability, there are many factors which is going to influence for the applicability when it comes in terms of company secretary. Okay, so that person, one who want to become a company secretary, he must qualify with company secretary exam. First one, he must be member of a Institute of Company Secretary of India. Okay, so thirdly, okay, so he or she must have certain experience according to the articles of association. Okay, so I'm the one who is going to prepare the articles of association of my organization. I can modify the rules and regulations as per my convenience. So I'm going to make a rule saying that, so the person one who are acting as a company secretary of my organization must be have minimum of 5 years of experience. So if those all, by considering these all criteria, they are going to consider the applicability of a company secretary in a organization. When it comes in terms of eligibility, as I said, this all applicability is a kind of the eligibility criteria for the company secretary to apply for the organization. Okay, so they are going to match the applicability and also the eligibility criteria with our factors. Okay, say what happened when it comes in terms of eligibility criteria. Okay, we cannot consider minor as a company secretary of my organization. In the same way, okay, the person one who had crossed the age of 70 years, we cannot consider him as a company secretary of my organization. Okay, in terms of the person, if he crossed the age of 70 years, we need to pass a special resolution. Okay, so to appoint him as a company secretary of my organization. Next one, as soon as they say that he is eligible, okay, so he can be a company secretary of my organization. Okay, so we are supposed to go with the board resolution. Firstly, okay, so we need to go with the board resolution. They are going to send the notice for the board of directors. They are going to conduct a meeting of a board of directors. Finally, the agenda of the session will be whether can we select him as a company secretary, yes or no. Okay, so all the kinds of the positive things and the negative things will be discussed, and finally that they are going to select him as a member, that is a company secretary of this organization. Okay, so terms and remuneration. Okay, so when it comes in terms of terms, it is his role, responsibility, okay, in the organization, followed by the remuneration. The remuneration of a company secretary, okay, so he is eligible for a salary. Okay, so according to Companies Act 2013, and also is eligible for incentives or the extra benefit that can be given by the organization to the company secretary. Done. Okay, so here the salary or the remuneration of a company secretary will be fixed by board of directors, not by the shareholders. So filing with ROC. Okay, as soon as these people decide to appoint company secretary of my organization, okay, so there should be a register under the ROC, that is register of companies. Okay, say what happened. Okay, so there is a special laws for the registration of this company secretary, so that is DIR 12. Okay, so they must file DIR 12 in ROC. Okay, with ROC. Vacancy. So if a company secretary resign the organization, so there is a empty vacancy. That empty vacancy should be filled within 6 months of time. Within 6 months, that vacancy should be filled. It is a responsibility of a board of director. Other company secretary must be replace his position, okay, after he vacate the position. Disclosure. So they consider him or her as a company secretary of the organization. Okay, they need to disclose if it is a registered company. They need to disclose in the official website. Okay, so they need to disclose with the SEBI. Okay, as per the norms of Companies Act 2013. Okay, so these are the certain things that they must go with. Followed by rights of a company secretary. Which are all the rights does the company secretary have? Okay, So right to attend board meeting. So as I said, he is a member of a key managerial personnel of a board. Okay, so he have a complete authority to attend a board meeting, that is a directors meeting. Okay, so as I explained in the first slide itself, okay, this company secretary is also known as a key managerial personnel, okay, who is present in the top level management. He have all the authority or responsibility to attend the meeting. He have all the rights to give the suggestions for the board of directors. Okay, so it is his default position. Right to access company record. Okay, so he have a complete authority or the right to access the company records, whether there is a true and fair value that has been given in the company records or the financial statements. Okay, whether the company records are going to follow Companies Act 2013, yes or no. He is the one person who can go through the documents. Okay, so whether the company is going to follow the corporate governance, is the one who can cross verify the records. So if it won't follow the governance, if it won't follow the actual protocol that is being made by Companies Act 2013, okay, so he's the one who can make the changes over a time. Right to seek information. Okay, so if we have any kind of doubts, if we have any kind of a problem, okay, so if he have any kind of questions or the queries regarding any kind of a documentation, okay, he have a complete right to pitch a question to the board also. Right to sign document. Okay, so he's the one who is going to verify the document, and also he have a responsibility to sign the document so that it is been authenticated, it is been certified by the company secretary, saying that whatever the information that is been disclosed in the report is genuine and transparent enough. Okay, so he's the person who have a responsibility to sign the documents. Right to remuneration. He can be entitled by the remuneration that is been given by the board. Okay, so he's also entitled not only for salary, for the extra benefit that is being given by the organization, and also for the incentives. Right to resign. He have all the authority to resign the organization whenever he required. Okay, so as soon as he apply for the resignation, okay, so the company or the organization must file with the ROC. So as in the time of the appointment also, they had gone with the ROC, okay, that is a registering. Okay, after the cancellation of the registration should happen with the ROC itself, okay, when if he resign the position. And in the same way, one company secretary resigned the position, within 6 months another company secretary should be replaced in his position or the plates. Right to be indemnified. Okay, so company secretary have all the authority to indemnify, to maintain the transparency, and also to follow the corporate governance when it comes in terms of a organization. He is the one who is going to maintain the records or the documentation in a formal way, and in the same way is going to authentify the documentation. Okay, whatever the document that is been maintained yet, okay, so it is true and fair. And also he have a complete authority or right to be a professionally independent. He is independent enough to question board. He is independent enough to question anybody in the organization who belong to top level management. He is independent enough to maintain a transparency. He cannot be influenced by a board of director. He cannot influenced by the chief level officers to manipulate the records or the documentation. He need to follow the governance. He need to follow the norms. Okay, so he is the one who is going to uphold the transparency and also the rights of the board of directors. Okay, so he is the responsible person. Liabilities of a company secretary. When it comes in terms of liabilities of a company secretary, okay, so he is liable for many factors. Okay, so as we see, so here the rights, okay, so it is perpendicular to the liabilities of a company secretary. Done. Okay, so liability to non-compliance with law. So if financial statements, if any documentation, if any procedures won't follow the law, if anything won't follow the corporate governance, if any documents won't follow Companies Act 2013, if it is against the Companies Act 2013, he have all the right. Okay, so he is the responsible person. He is liable if any kind of a thing happen wrong. Okay, he is the one who is going to take care of all the documentation. Liability for misstatements of documents. Okay, so if there is any kind of a misleading thing that has been given in the documentation, okay, he's the responsible one, because without his signature the document cannot be considered. Okay, before he signed the document, he's going to cross verify whether it is transparent, whether any kind of a wrong information that is been given, whether it is any kind of a misleading statement that is been given. Okay, he's one who is going to take care of these all things. Liability for fraud and misconduct. So if there is any kind of a fraudulent activity that is going to happen in an organization, if there is any kind of a misconduct that may happen in an organization, he is liable for these all things. Liability for breach of a duty. So if he break his duty, if he break his responsibility, what if he won't follow Companies Act 2013? What if he won't follow Companies Act 2013? What if he won't follow corporate governance? What if he is not transparent? Okay, so if he break anything, okay, so if he breach his duty, okay, so he is the direct responsible person, he is the accountable for what he do. Liability as a officer in default. Okay, so he is liable to become an officer in the organization. The name itself, it make that he is a member of a top level management. He is a member of top level management. We consider him as a key managerial personnel. It is a default of a company secretary. Liability for failure and disclose information. Okay, he is liable to disclose all the information that is relevant for board of directors, that is relevant for the shareholders, that is relevant for the register of the company, that is relevant for the general public, transparently, without manipulating. Okay, so he's the responsible person. Liability for negligence in corporate governance. So he cannot be negligent, he cannot be lazy, he should follow corporate governance completely. Okay, so if he failed to do so, he is answerable for the cause. Liability for a failure of a inform the board. Okay, so what happened if he failed to inform a board? Means it is his responsibility, whatever the changes that is going to happen in organization, whatever the things that is going to happen. Okay, so it should bring to the notice of board of directors. Based on their suggestion, based on that cause, they are going to take the decision. Okay, so his responsibility or liability to bring the concept in the minds of a board of directors. Removal of a company secretary. Okay, so how exactly, what exactly the protocol according to Companies Act 2013 to remove the company secretary from the organization. Okay, so when it comes in terms of a seat, please don't get confused. This also have a 7-step, and in the same way appointment process also have a 7-step process. So firstly we are going to recognize or identify the reason for removal. Why exactly we are going to remove company secretary from my organization? There must be a valid reason. What if he won't follow, he is not liable for these all things? We can remove him from this. What if he had involved in a malpractice? What if he is not transparent to the organization or to the shareholder? Okay, on these cases we can remove him from the company. Okay, so issue a notice to a company secretary. So if we get to know what exactly the reason is, say for example, company secretaries manipulate the financial statement or documentation of the organization. For that reason, we had decided to remove him from our organization. Okay, so here we need to send the valid notice to the company secretary addressing that we are removing from our organization. These are the reasons for the removal of a company secretary from our organization. Okay, so these are all the things that they must be given from board to the company secretary, followed by convene a board meeting. Okay, so as soon as they invite a company secretary or send the notice to the company secretary, they must conduct a board of directors meeting. In that meeting, they are going to discuss about the issue or the problem that had happened, and whether we need to remove him from the job or we are going to warn him and give the opportunity. Okay, so that is a matter that will be discussed in the board of directors meeting. Okay, say for example, this is a third time that we are going to conduct a meeting for the removal of a company secretary for the same person. Okay, so first time we had given the opportunity, second time also we had given the opportunity, but this is the third time that we are going to catch hold of him. Okay, so there is no opportunity can be given. Finally, the board of directors decide to remove the company secretary from the organization. They are going to send a board resolution. Based on that board resolution, they are going to conduct a meeting, filing with the register of the company. So after they decide that, okay, we are going to completely remove this individual person from my organization, they must register under ROC, saying that we had removed Mr. X or Y from my organization. These are the reasons. Disclose to stock exchange for listed companies. So if it is a listed company, okay, so we need to disclose for a stock exchange, that is SEBI, and update in company records. So and also the removal of a company secretary must be updated in the all the records of the organization, followed by the official website of the company. This is the actual protocol for the removal of a company secretary. In next session, we are going with the new concept or a new topic, that is a company meeting. So what exactly the company meeting is, what is the protocol for the conduction of the meeting according to Companies Act 2013. These are the things that we are going to learn in next session, that is unit 4. Thank you.